is only the Master.
The Master is one of the Doctor's most iconic villains, and thanks to the power of regeneration we get to see many different faces and sides of him. So today I'm going to look through and count down the top 6 Masters that we've seen so far. A couple of quick notes. First of all, I will only be counting on-screen Masters. Second of all, Derek Jacobi is not on this list, but that's due to him having such a short time it's impossible to judge him properly. I love Gianna, and the 2 minutes to his Master was amazing, so I'm certain he would be high, but I don't feel it's fair to judge him just on the 2 minutes. Same with Jonathan Pryce. Despite having a great appearance as the Master in The Curse of Fatal Death, he was non-canon. It's just a bit too silly. He'd probably be somewhere in the middle, but I don't feel I can judge him properly.
He's a Dalek box.
So, with that out of the way, let's get on with the countdown. As we start, I've got to point out, I don't think there is such a thing as a bad Master. Even the worst Master is still a great character. Saying that, I wasn't overly fond of the Damaged Master. Most of the Masters have a charm about them and can convince anyone of anything. This Master had none of that, and although justified, he was a little bit too obsessed with getting the regenerations. However, he was still very smart, and I did like his episodes. I'm personally very fond of the Keeper of Traken. It's just a shame that we never got a real opportunity for him to shine. In his defence, many people have praised Beaver's Big Finish stories, but I can't really take them into consideration because I haven't actually heard them ones yet. In at number 5 we have Eric Roberts. I believe Eric Roberts was easily the most underrated Master. If we want to dig at the TV movie, I can go on for hours. If I ever do a Whovian scenes on it, I imagine it will be longer than the movie itself. However, I don't think that Eric Roberts can really be faulted on that. I thought he was a good Master, and that he used manipulation tactics very well. He had a very good plan in the context of the movie, and he proved himself to be a good Master. He also proved the brutality that I think was sort of necessary for the role in the film that he was in, and that actually ends up showing in several other Masters. In at number 4 we have Anthony Ainley. Ainley's Doctor managed to get the charm back that I like about the character, but he kept the desperation for getting the more regenerations. He did have some great appearances, some fantastic appearances, some of my favourite episodes, but other times he felt like a secondary character. He felt a bit too one-dimensional at times as well. Overall, I'd say that's my big issue, is the hit and miss of his time. The other sort of final point is that most of the Masters above this point mirror their Doctors well, which I'll go more into in a minute, but Ainley did not really get that advantage. His motives and plans were often weak, but he was still a great Master and usually very entertaining, even if his plans weren't the best.
Number 3.
In the number 3 spot we have Missy. Missy mirrors 12 very well, and bear in mind that that's who she's appeared with, that works very well. They tend to bounce off of each other very well, and they actually have a very unique dynamic, which I'll get to a bit more in a minute. She's randomly psychopathic and will just randomly kill for fun or to make a point. Her plans quite often get a bit of rap for being a bit confusing and pointless, but actually if you can get your head around them, the plans are actually really great. Even giving the Doctor an army of Cybermen, unless there's an impossible rogue Cyberman in the ranks of course, works with her plan exactly how she wants it to, however it ends up going down. One of the things that stands out to me about Missy is that she has a very unique dynamic with the Doctor. She actually brings the friendship to the forefront, with most of her plans being trying to become friends with the Doctor again. And I think it's actually very beautiful to see, and the fact that she manages to do that whilst continuing to be psychotic and the Master is absolutely fantastic in my opinion.
Why are you doing this?
I need you to know we're not so different. I need my friend back.
Number 2.
The original, and many would argue the best, Delgado shows the Master in an amazing way. As the mastermind behind so many plots, the Master is often described as the Moriarty to the Doctor's Sherlock. Now that's especially true of this Master. Through most of the Doctor's exile to Earth, the Master was his primary opponent, though rarely the primary villain of the episode. He tended to cause the other villains to act as he wished, usually trying to take over Earth or get to the Doctor. While I commented on that factor with Ainley, and I commented that as if it was a bad thing, Delgado very rarely felt like he lost control. He felt like the primary villain throughout his tenure, and even when he was in prison, you still felt as though Delgado had a huge amount of control, and he was able to regain it. He has the suave and the charm and the manipulation tactics. He and the Third Doctor bounce off of each other very, very well, and so many scenes with those two interacting are just fantastic. Ultimately, I can think of no reason that he's not top, and I would agree with people that would call him the best, but I do consider him second best due to having a preference of the best.
Number 1. Keep watching, Doctor. This should be spectacular.
Does it surprise anyone that John Simm's number 1? I mean, just look at the logo I've been using for Master. You know how I say that the Master mirrors and bounces off the Doctor? Well, here we have the Master that is paralleling the most charismatic, hyper, fun Doctor, taking all of that and putting it into the Master. Oh yes! He only has a couple of stories, but those are some of my favourite stories of all time, and the highlight of both of them is the Master himself. The Sound of Drums is a perfect example of what I love about the Master, and especially Sim. The Master isn't trying to kill the Doctor as much as he is trying to defeat him, and we see Sim's Master crush the Doctor in this one. In Sound of Drums, every single aspect of the plan he uses is perfect and works together beautifully, not just for success, but to personally attack the Doctor every step of the way, and that is so the way that the Master should be. He also still has his Moriarty-like tendencies, with him having bled into other stories and the person behind it, such as Lazarus, and manipulating the Toclafane. He showed the failed Master as well, with him coming from behind in the end of time, so even when he's lost control, he quickly regained it. And I feel like he had a good arc. I know that some people dislike the Drums, but I thought it was a great story of development. Overall, I love him. I think he is so entertaining and so fantastic. I don't think that there is a scene that he is in that I do not love, because he just has that character about him. And that is why John Sim, in my opinion, is the best Master. Of course, this is all just my opinion. Leave your list down in the comments below, let me know what you think. I know quite a few have already commented what your favourite Masters are, and I always love seeing sort of what other people think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. The Cornetto is the best. You will like, comment, and subscribe.